Hey guys, here's how we are starting it off. We have a 48-foot US mobile kitchen. Looks like they got rid of the trailers that they used to come out to like here, so I wouldn't be able to pull it. But we are good. Let's pull this one. I put the toolbox that I have inside, so we have the big box in there, so I'll put it back on when I get there. But got new tires. I think should be alright. That other trailer I did had 14s on it, which was pretty nice, but whatever. Things have a decent bit of damage on them from the factory because of, you know, people and drivers. So I'll show you guys all the damage and whatnot, what we're dealing with. So like up here, it's a casual spot, so we got it all locked down. I need to pull forward a little bit so I can put my pin in it. And you know, obviously this is a reverse level truck. I had to go and replace my Milwaukee air compressor. I have one on order, but in the meantime, I have the, you can see right there, I have a little one plumbed into the tank and then it comes out to here. So it works fine, a little slower, but it does work. You guys will see that she's squatting a little bit, but it's all right. Then we got 50 gallons of oil. So that'll work. Get her spotted to get out of here and see you down in Florida. So we're going down with 190 gallons of fuel. I got a full tank, I got a full big tank, and I got 5-gallon buckets, and they're all strapped in and whatnot, so they're not going anywhere. So olive oil. I bought another pump, a second pump, had really good ratings online. It worked twice. So I don't know what I'm gonna do for pumps from now on, which I might just buy another GPI for like 450 bucks and call it a day. But it sucks. I'd like to be able to take a hose out of the truck, siphon stuff, but it doesn't seem to work that way. But if you guys are wondering, everything else, fuel mileage, we got a new air filter, so all that stuff's good. We just did all brand new brakes. You guys will see in here that I just did new drilled and slotted rotors from Detroit. Like I said, we're doing all the upgrades and whatnot, so that way we don't have any future issues. This engine, I'm a hit or miss on. I don't know what I want to do because I fixed a coolant leak the other day and now it has another coolant leak that's just kind of like a drip. But it's like, with how much I've been driving around, it doesn't make sense that it only takes what it does and then it's fine and doesn't overheat. So I don't understand that, but I don't know what we're going to do about the engine at some point. I don't know if I'm going to go get another one or rebuild this one or just run it for another 100,000. No idea. But this is a big Mamba Jamma. That is a 48-foot. It's actually a dishwash trailer, so this thing should only really weigh 12,000 pounds. The other ones I've pulled them and they've weighed like 18,000 on the upper end, but these are all right. So I think 13.6. We're just under 13.6 with this trailer. So, and I'm gonna let it squat a little bit. I got 55 pounds in the bags, 3,500 rear suspension. We're good to go. So enough yapping. Let's see. Oh yeah, I also did this after the yapping. I did this last night. So this comes over here. I have an end on order that is one of those twisty ones. And this, the only thing is I can't get this fitting tight. Otherwise it hits, the filter will hit the housing. So that's kind of annoying, but everything else is tight. I actually used a ratchet strap because it locked in this position, and I used a ratchet strap on everywhere in the truck to pull it around. And this thing is in there tight. That is not moving. Also, guys, pre-trips, super important. I verified that the brake controller works, and always, well, the breakaway, I made sure that that works. And always, before you leave, I like to get it up to, you know, like 5-10 miles an hour. You guys can see right there. And then I like to hit the brakes. And if it stops me, which it does, we know we have working brakes. So all the lights work, everything's good. Now we're getting out of here. Now something to pay attention to is there's always these divots on here, so I always have to watch that trailer. And I put the mirrors out, but like when you're pulling out, there's a lot of uneven terrain on here, which is why a lot of guys, they'll hit this trailer just pulling out. So we can sit here and watch it. There we go. And then when we pull out, it's basically a jungle for about 10 miles, which really, I mean, it's not a great thing. And then when we pull out, there's a huge divot where the truck goes down and comes back up. So you'll know if you have clearance, and that's kind of why I took the box out, because that would 100% hit the toolbox that I had on there. So I'm gonna squeeze through here. You can see uneven ground. There's a big old pothole and I'll show you this ground when we get out of here to kind of like give you like the point of, yeah, this is kind of brutal. They gave you a lot more room there. There used to be a big wall and trees and shit, but I'll show you. Look at that uneven ground. Like it goes way down. There's a big pothole right there. We got to avoid that. I'll show you guys here. And yes, we have a working e-brake. You guys see this ground? Big pothole, big downward slope. So, and then right there, it's really bad. So we're gonna have to try to avoid it. We should be all right because we do have ample clearance, so I'm not worried about it. But some of these trailers get pretty close to the bed and there's only so much adjustment you can make. And sometimes they're locked and you can't adjust them because the bolts are seized. I'm gonna wait for that guy up there to go because it's courteous. Watch him turn in here though, that'd be something. Bro, I called it. I called it that he was turning. I should have just went. I'm gonna go and we'll see how it goes. You guys, I will flip forward to the future. I was wrong, that sucked. I got lucky there, it didn't hit what I thought it was gonna hit. I had to go up over the embankment to make that turn clear properly because, yeah, that was bad. Also, somebody got pulled over up here. And there's a nice Kenworth there. Like I said, it's a jungle and all back roads for like the longest time. I've done it like probably 30 times out of this lot. So we're gonna have fun going through the woods. Right now it's a clear stretch, but it changes here in a minute. Back to the jungle. Take her slow. We're doing all right. Yeah, so this is the jungle, basically, is what we call it, because there's 4 different ways out of this place. 5, technically. But they're all pretty bad. Saw smoke back there. I don't know if that's my brakes. But, I don't know. I think my brakes are smoking. See that, guys? Alright, told you guys about Virginia. I'm gonna get out and do a walk around. Make sure everything's good. Make sure all our tires are good. Make sure none of my buckets fell over that I did strap. Everything is good there. Checking all the tires. You can smell the brakes on this thing. I don't know what the deal is. Everything seems all right. Check the wheel bearings. That one's hot as shit. That one I can't even touch these two. But it is like 90 degrees out. All the lights work. Can't check any of these. Yeah, 95 sucks. But everything good so far. Haven't lost anything. Took me a little hot minute. I had to use a pry bar to get that pin in. That was a pain in the ass, but it's not highballed. So y'all have got to see this one, right? So there's, I wonder if my mirror will pick it up. You can see that load on the back of that truck, right? His door says 26,000 GVWR, and he's got a 22 GN tandem dually trailer. Let's see here. Look at, I'm gonna let him pass. He's got plenty of securement on that trailer, or on that truck. He's got straps pulling back on front on the wheels, and plenty of chains and securement. But that is, wow, that's a 40,000 pound setup. 26,000 GVWR. Hey, good on you, man. Make it work, I guess. That guy said, fuck the DOT. Yo, I am so glad I have AC. Yeah, this traffic goes on for a while. It says plus 25 on the, or it did say plus 25. Now it says plus 16. Big reason for an aux tank. We are 12 miles from the rest area, and I ran out of fuel. It actually shut off. So I'm gonna fill up a little bit, just enough to get me there, and then I'm gonna fill up the rest of the way, but I need to get this thing started back up. All right, it's started, it's running. Now I put a quarter tank in, so I'm gonna, you know, we're 12 miles away, so 143 miles till empty at this point. So I'm gonna go fill it back up, check the coolant, check the oil, we're good to go. We're gonna get some snacks and we'll get out of here. This must have just happened not too long ago. Like, I pulled the truck over and oil was just seeping from the engine. Here I thought the engine blew up or some shit. I have no idea. Turns out this O-ring that was on here blew out ever so slightly. and was just pissing fuel. And how I found that out was because I checked the engine oil, and there's plenty of oil in it. I checked this, and every time I'd touch it, I saw a little seep. So I pushed on the pump, pressurized it, there's the leak. So, pulled it off, fix it up, we'll verify that it's good. I'm gonna clean this O-ring off, put this back on. This is a gutted filter, by the way. This is just a dummy filter. Yeah, that sucks. It must have just happened too, because it wasn't like that when I pulled over at the down the road to put this, like 13 miles ago. It wasn't like that, and I still got decent miles. Like I think I got 400 and some miles to this tank. So when I stopped and I finally got the truck started, I revved it up to like 2,500 and just let it sit there for a hot minute. So I think that's probably when it happened, because that's when I noticed fuel pressure was a little low, but it was running great. This was sitting at like 20. All right, getting her filled back up. I'm gonna take this to the streak and beacon because, yeah, that sucks. I'm gonna get this whole thing cleaned up for him sometime tonight. That was bullshit. You could see, holy hell. We still have lights and everything back here. I thought I saw something fly behind me. I thought I blew a tire, but apparently not. This thing stinks. Yeah, I'm gonna get them both cleaned up because that kind of sucked ass. At least it has working AC. I thought that was engine oil, and I'm like, oh fuck, engine's finally blown up. But apparently not, so get that thing filled. I love this pump. This pump has outlived both of those pumps. That one's shot already. All right, I'm heading out. Just got done at the rest area, and I got really lucky. So the thing was, it didn't break the O-ring. It did. There was something else the other week that an O-ring came out of place, and oh, that's right, the coolant leak. Yeah, it did the same thing it did to the coolant leak. It like blew the O-ring out, but didn't damage it. So I was able to get the O-ring reseated, threw it back in, and we're good to go. So I'm gonna obviously keep an eye on it and whatnot. I can see by my fuel pressure if anything's wrong. So if fuel pressure drops, I'll stop and check it out. At some point, I'm gonna make a stop at the Blue Beacon, maybe sometime in the morning or maybe tonight, we shall see. But let's get rolling. I got 9 hours and 40 minutes. All right, no more issues here. I am gonna jack up the front and rear just to make sure that everything here is good. Just to make sure, because I don't wanna make sure none of this wheels are gonna fall off or any of the brake bolts are loose, but it doesn't hurt to do a retorque and put them up in the air and see. So just, I don't know about you guys, but taillights are annoying. There's these little grommets in here, and every time they go bad, and then the taillights keep popping out, and it's really obnoxious. But for what it is, we're gonna have to retire this motor at some point if I don't keep it up. Rear main leaks a little bit. Pretty consistent drip, but whatever. We'll keep her going. Found a streak and beacon down in Florida we're gonna go to. Apparently they're 24/7, so I'm gonna get this whole trailer nice and clean before we go, because actually if that wouldn't have happened, this trailer would have been spotless. All right, I like this cap. You know what, that doesn't seem normal that that's bubbling like that. Coolant leaking itself. Holy shit. Just lifting that up, you could hear it. That's awesome. But yeah, I don't think that should be bubbling like that. Let me show you guys. Is that normal? Is that okay? Because I don't like that. Went and got oil. This is the stuff I run because I don't care about this engine. It's like 20 bucks for this. This is a gallon, supposedly. But the thing about it is I can get like a big 5-gallon. They didn't have it here. So, like I was saying, I'm going to get some oil in this thing and then jack the front up and put some coolant in it. All right, check the front end. Everything was tight. We're good, other than the leaks you can see. It's not that bad. I mean, it's, you know, some pretty big drippage, but whatever. We get this thing fired up and we'll fill the tank. Something I have noticed as well is cruising in 6th gear at 67 mile an hour. I get piss poor fuel mileage. I put it in 5th, doing like 57, and yeah, this tank, I think it wasn't even 100 miles before it came off the full mark, so I was getting piss poor fuel mileage driving in 6th. I've been running 5th, and it's been all right. Guys behind me aren't happy, but 59 mile an hour. Holy shit. That's obnoxious. super late, it's like 9 o'clock, but like, I found out why I was getting shitty fuel mileage earlier, and it's not what you think. And I was wondering, my AC stopped working for some reason, which it did the other day, and then it came back on and it was fine. So I was like, eh, whatever. Now, I was sitting in idle, I was filling the tank, and I'm like, let me turn the AC compressor, and it all but stalled the engine. We are back in that for Virginia traffic. Just kidding, I'm in Georgia. This is obnoxious. So the guy gave me a time. I gotta wait until that time to go there, so I gotta sit here for like another, I don't know, 20 minutes, something like that. But told him in between 2 times, and I'm gonna be definitely on the early mark. As you guys saw last night, I did go take the trailer to the Streak and Beacon because it needed done. I'll show you guys. I'm also in a tow away zone, but they did pretty decent. There's not really any marks on it. You know, they have their stains and shit, but all in all, it's pretty clean, so not worried about it. I did empty all of the buckets last night into the tank. Those locking lids are a pain in the ass, but they don't leak. So you can get this dropped here in about 20-30 minutes, and then start heading home. All right, getting her dropped now, and this one has the electric jack. Release. There we go. Cool. Turn that off. And it has the manual jack for next to him. So we are off the ball. She is dropped. Got my toolbox back in. Everything back here's normal. My 10 buckets. And yeah, so all good to go. I'm heading home. Sometimes you just gotta kick your shoes off and say, it's not worth it. Because if you guys look at this GPS, right? I swear, we have a country with the worst drivers imaginable. Look at that. Plus 53 minutes on that one. And then once you get by it, look at that. Plus 12 on the other one. Hell no. I'm not even gonna try. I'm gonna wait till this shit clears. I'm gonna take me a nap because screw it. I don't even care. This is ridiculous. So I will say, this thing has been perfect for weeks. No, I'd even say months at this point. Like, everything has been awesome. I've had no issues. And then this trip has just been a damn nightmare. So from that O-ring blowing out to now my starter, look at this. If you guys will be able to see in there. Like, you can, this is a brand new starter. Look at that. You can wiggle the solenoid. So the starter's shot. So I need to get a new starter. My AC went out. I blasted the trailer with fuel, so I had to get that cleaned. Yeah, this trip has just been a fucking nightmare. I'm pulling this motor this weekend and I'm just calling it good. So I'm waiting on a guy, he's coming over now. And we're gonna put his tow strap on it, I'm gonna pop start it and not shut it off for the rest of the trip. So we got it started. It made a hell of a squealing noise. And now, not only is the compressor clutch locked up, but the compressor itself's locked up. Luckily, I keep a spare belt because I'm smart, and that's what I do. Sometimes I'm smart. I'm gonna put a delete belt on it and call it a day. Now I always keep 3 serpentine belts on me. So this is a good belt right here, a good serpentine belt with AC, and this is a belt with no AC. I have 2 AC delete belts and 1 extra non-AC delete belt, and then the one I have in there. So I attribute this to why the starter failed. I was wondering why it was so hard. I was putting it in second and it kept chirping the tires. Third started, but then it really, really loudly. So I'm gonna look up the diagram quick, get this bitch slapped on, throw my tone ring back on, or my sensor, and we'll call it a day. Like I said, this motor's coming out. It's getting, I know I said I wasn't gonna do it. I might do a rebuild on this motor. We're gonna get a new starter, new AC compressor. Everything's gonna get painted. Everything's coming out. Because, like, the starter itself, you can wiggle the thing there. Like, oh, there you go. You can wiggle the thing. I don't know. You guys can see it's kind of separating. So whatever. Let me get this thing back. And by the way, the brand new starter that I got from Napa, I sold to Denton before he died. He asked me if I could get him one that was cheaper than that. So he has a brand new starter never been used, and now Anthony bought it, so now he has my starter. I could have just swapped the starter out when I got home, but no, I sold it to the guy. Now, I do remember telling you guys in the beginning I was gonna torture test the shit out of this motor. No EGT gauge. When I did have an EGT gauge, I hit 1700 degrees every day. I hit 240 degrees on the coolant temp, a lot. Probably, I've probably hit it a couple of times last week. And everything's been problem-free. I can actually say that, other than I had to replace the batteries, but they were old. Yeah, everything's been pretty much problem-free, and the air filter, but that was also my fault. So it's just been running, driving. Now we're at the point where it's like, whoops, you know, and a little bit of oil leak here and there, but nothing major. Now it's just at the point where I do think that it's time that maybe we pull it and see what it looks like at 340,000 miles. Engine's grossed me well over 200,000 since I put it in 2 years ago. I think we did 130 last year. I did 45 the year before, and then what are we at, 85 this year. So I mean, I don't know. I really can't complain for a $1,500 motor. So I know I said I'd never do it, but let's just, I don't know, tear it apart and see what's in it. If it needs bored over, I mean, I'll probably just quit HotShot for about a month, get a new engine in it, get some new front end parts and stuff like that, and we'll just go from there. So I'm gonna toss this thing together. I got the belt on the bottom, so I gotta do all that. You can see how much of the, whoopsies, all the rubber. Nice. That one spins, alternator spins, water pump spins, everything spins except for the AC compressor. That is seized. And also a coolant leak. So no idea where that coolant leak's coming from. Somewhere in that area. Maybe even this. Could be that. Who knows? Who cares at this point? I'm getting it home. I'm not putting another speck of oil or coolant in it. It blows up, it blows up. Alright, sorry about the poor quality at night. I know you guys are used to the shitty video quality of the phone, but let's see how she starts now. And hopefully the tachometer works, because I may have accidentally adjusted the tone ring. But I'm gonna put all my stuff in here a while, grab my overhead light, and then I'll start it. All right, let's see how much easier this thing starts now that the belt's not seized. Wow. But we have no tachometer, so I gotta fix that. Guess we'll shut it off and hopefully it starts again. Hopefully it starts again. It's the game we'll play today. All right, let's see if we have a tach now. We do. All right. So we'll see if that stops down the road. But that's from burning oil. We'll see if it stops when the fuel starts going through. I put 200 bucks in it, which got me like 40 gallons. So here's the thing, all right? As I was saying earlier, I told you guys I was gonna torture test a 12 valve. What did we find with torture testing the 12 valve? Well, as long as there's oil in it, it could give a fuck. Also, it needs three things. It needs oil pressure, and it needs fuel pressure. Okay, those are the three things that need, well, I guess you could say four, because it also needs the fuel. So fuel pressure, oil, and oil pressure. Those are the only thing it needs. And sometimes you might need coolant. So 5 things total, okay? This whole trip it's been leaking coolant, and I have not been nice to putting coolant in it. I think I just put the last of my coolant in and it did not fill it up, and I don't care, because like I said, we're gonna pull this sumbitch next weekend. I got a lot of shop work this week, and it's actually interesting stuff, so I'm gonna post it for you guys. We got a head to do, and we gotta work on the black truck. All right, I know you guys probably won't believe me, but she started first try. I'm gonna get the tank filled. We're at about 3/4 of a tank, so I didn't drive far from getting fuel last night. It was running good. Oil was a little over full this morning. So, like I was saying before, we're gonna get this motor pulled this weekend, but I got 2 jobs this week to grab. So, we're gonna grab them first, because they're more important. Paying customers come first. And we'll go from there. I'm gonna get all these buckets out too. So if you guys have oil near me, let me know. But up until this weekend, I won't be collecting after this weekend. And then until we get the new motor back in. I'll show you guys. That's actual diesel this time, because I went and put $200 in last. All right, so we got about 6.5 hours till we get home. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of like style of video. I guess we're just pretty much, I'm just driving home at this point. So 6.5 hours, not too bad. Got enough work lined up next week that I'm not worried about the deadhead, and the whole trip cost me about $200 in fuel and then another $100 in supplies. So not too bad. I did stop at Chili's last night, but I do that every single Friday. I get ribs every Friday. All right, I hate this trip. I hate it. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. I didn't have to stop, but I heard a noise. If I'd let off the throttle and then I'd give it throttle, it made a clunking noise, like kinda, and it sounded weird. And I was like, whatever, I'm gonna check the drive shaft. I haven't checked it in a while, you know, they built me a nice drive shaft. And I left my U-joints at home. I hate this trip already. I hate it. Hate everything to do about it. I wish I wouldn't have come to Florida, but I mean, it was worth the money, but fuck my life, right? So I'm like under here, I'm like kicking the drive shaft and like everything's good. And I come down here. I'm trying not to get dirty because I just washed myself, but look at this. Look at that. One of the U-joints has no fucking bearings in it. It just, you can come down here. Look at that. Son of a bitch. It's funny because I have a backup drive shaft at the house. I'm telling you what, I have never had a trip this bad. Like, if one thing could go wrong, everything went wrong. I was like, I ran the East Coast with a 17,000 pound car trailer for months and would have one issue here and there. This trip was like, no, motherfucker, you get all of the issues. I'm 6.5 hours from the house. I kind of just want to send it. I don't know, I kind of just want to send it. See how far it makes it, because I don't have my press on me. See, I figured something was wrong yesterday, but I didn't know what it was, and I just kind of like attributed it to the engine problems. If I was decelerating, it would vibrate if I was in gear, and my shifts were like kind of iffy yesterday. Like, I found myself grinding a couple of gears yesterday when I was floating, and that's really weird because I don't ever do that. And now I see why that slop in the drive shaft will absolutely make a difference when you're gear shifting. So that makes sense. I was in traffic and I was like, why is my shifting suck today? That explains it. So O'Reilly's, I absolutely love O'Reilly's. I do. Honestly, I wish that O'Reilly's would sponsor me because I love them. I'm not a big fan of AutoZone or Advance. I don't think many people are, but they found me one 18 minutes up the road, about 16 miles. So we're gonna go drive to that one and swap this thing out in a parking lot. Even got them to hold the part for me and everything. I didn't have to pay for it, so headed up there now. All right, so they have it. I'm gonna get the bags inflated on this so I can pull this thing off. They also have my receipt from before. So other than some time, I'm not paying a dime for it. It saves me $55, or 60 bucks, let's put it that. So it saves me 60 bucks. I'm gonna get this one out. No idea how I'm gonna do it, but we'll see. This is a custom built drive shaft and my U-joint has already failed. Right, so here's the scoop, right? The old one, I got everything out. I just took it in, got it exchanged under warranty. I just cut it because they do not like to move. So I cut it out, hammered it out. I put the new one in. Here's the old. I'm gonna clean all this up in here, maybe throw some anti-seize in it. And then this one comes with the new clips. So hopefully it doesn't go in super bad, but it came out like in a million pieces. So let's get it done. Also, for getting in there, I started with a small one and then I always save my big ones to get all the way back. So it'll take like 5-10 minutes to cut all 4 of them. You know, you miss sometimes here and there, but as long as you don't damage the inside here, you're fine. Here's where we're at. So I put a cap on the top, kind of slid it in, so now we're good here. So, oh, yeah, right there. So I slid it all the way through, make sure it's tight. I'll slap this one on here. Make sure that you do not hit these unless this is inside of there. You don't want to do that. You'll be buying another one. All right, she's all back together. I got it all greased up and everything. I fucked up. I got 3 of them perfect, and then one I did knock the bearings out like I told you guys not to do. So I had to sit there and put every which one of them in. There was 2 broken ones, so I had to reuse 2 old ones that I found on the ground, but you know, like this one here. So just clean them off and everything. I have 2 end caps and a whole spare U-joint at home, so, but yeah, so it'll be all right. Everything is good. There is no, it's not tight. Everything's greased, so throw it back in, some grease in there, and we'll call it a day. All right, it's all fixed. One more issue this trip, and I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna crash this thing into a lake, and I'm gonna collect the insurance money. Or there will be a mysterious electrical fire, one or the other. Obviously joking, that's illegal, don't do that. Go figure. Virginia! Someone fucked up. I think that's an accident. Alright, well I'm gonna call it. I got home a little bit ago, so hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like. Don't forget, go check out Mudflap, link in the description, go check them out, and save a bunch of money on fuel. So, hope you enjoyed. Later.